Welcome in, everybody, to another special episode of Scarves and Spikes. Tyler Pilgrim here alongside with a very special guest, my brother, Tony Leon. How are you doing?
Man, not that special.
You special.
It's
enough.
family.
You're special.
It's family.
You're family, so you're special.
If that sums it up.
Yep.
Hey, Tyler, you hungover yet?
I'm getting there.
Dude, what a season. I feel like it's been a whole season. The summer, basically.
Yeah.
Has been World Cup. I don't know. I mean, people watching this are soccer fans, football fans. It's international now. We have the World Cup in our backyard, but especially because it's in our backyard, this is all that it's been for me.
Yeah. It's been an entire lifetime. I go back to
Cheers, by the way.
Cheers. That was a good pour, by the way. I know you can't see it in the Decatur Watch Fest aluminum cup there, but that was a good pour.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like we talk about Atlanta's first match, Spain and Cabo Verde, and like the history behind that, which we're going to get into. That feels like a year ago.
It definitely does. And truth be told, this is like an emergency podcast, not planned at all. I basically begged him. I said, you have the platform, you have the podcast. Tyler and I have had the distinct privilege of being able to catch every single Atlanta match here during the World Cup run. And it's been like this massive pinch me, punch me moment. I don't even know how to quantify what this is. The best way, sadly, that I look at it is dollar signs.
Yeah.
I look at every match as $1,000. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I got basically
More
somebody
than
said,
that.
yeah, for real, which we'll get into as well. But I feel like, hold on, I got 10K worth
Yeah.
of gifts.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. And I was paid to do it, by the way. Like, that's the crazy thing. So some of you might know me from Atlanta United, being the fan host for Flags Out. That's what I do by trade. I'm a host, so I'm bouncing around bunch of different cities throughout the country, hosting on behalf of, you name the company. I've hosted for, pretty much any major company here in Atlanta I've hosted for, but that's the gig, that's the run. But one of the event contractors, so to speak, that I work with that flies me out a bunch, hosts events here, of course. And when FIFA came to town, they needed a job. And at this point, I said, I don't care if I'm picking up trash. I'll volunteer. I'll do whatever it is. The moment I heard FIFA, I said, hey, I'm there. Whatever the job is. So I wasn't necessarily hosting what I got to do, but although I was contracted to host some World Cup events, which was awesome. And again, another pinch me moment to the resume, but being able to capture all of these moments, that's how I was able to do it. So if anybody came to a World Cup match, I was helping supervise the Fan Fest. So for those of you that were actually going and making your way inside the stadium, I was helping make sure all of that was looking great. So we had the mini pitch going on. We had face painters, the match ball that would be kicked off before every match. We had it right there on display so fans can come up, take pictures, see all of the signed kits from around the globe. And again, cool experience just to be a part of the families, the festivities, all of that. But to then say, all right, guys, everybody's going to the stadium, and I got to follow suit. That's how I got in. You got in, of course, during press.
Yep.
And our perspectives going in, we said this before when Atlanta United first was announced to, we actually have an official soccer team that we can root for here in our backyard. And then Mercedes-Benz Stadium, or Atlanta Stadium, started welcoming the world.
Yep.
Copa America, a couple other big events that would come through.
Premier League, all kinds of stuff.
And when we got the bid for World Cup, you and I, I'm sure any friend, family member, whoever, said, oh, wouldn't this be cool?
Yep.
We got to catch a match. It's in our backyard at this point. We have to. But
come hell or high water.
Right. For me to catch one, let alone all of them, pinch me.
Yeah.
Pinch me.
And there are a ton of these pinch me moments. And that's kind of what we wanted to do here, because there are so many little stories, right? And from my perspective, I've been trying to cover the game in as many ways as possible that have set us apart from the giant media outlets that are out there, because there are tons, and they're going to put out your match recaps. They're going to put out, the big things, and the eyes are going to get on them because they have the views. Yeah. But to be somebody that was born and raised in Atlanta, to then be able to go to these events, get credentialed to go in as media. My goal was to try to bring people with me in the best way possible. And it was not easy in a lot of ways because you get hundreds of thousands of people in a city. I mean, forget the World Cup and how busy it was, but you have Atlanta's a metropolis, right? And then you get all these people in one spot, and me on my little iPhone trying to go around, capture videos, upload them to Instagram, upload them to Twitter, you know, all these little things, and the internet's not wanting to cooperate. And I'm like, man, I know the Athletic doesn't have this issue. I know they don't have this issue. But in doing this and just being around these people and these tourists and these fans, it was some of those pinch me moments. It was some of these cool opportunities that I never expected to have. I knew the World Cup was going to bring a lot of wonderful things to this city, but I think once it finally got here, that was it. It slapped me in the face.
Yeah, I being a football fan and obviously keeping up with the World Cup. What was, I don't know, your first World Cup that you're like, oh, I'm paying attention now? For me, it was South Africa.
South Africa, yeah.
South Africa is when the country that I root for, Spain, finally, won theirs. That I was on board. I was hooked, and it was from that moment because you can see Puerto Rico repping. Yeah. We don't have a team, although the U.S. The U.S. Sorry about that. The U17 Puerto Rican team, they're going on to play in Morocco. So go, ladies. Let's go.
Yep, let's go.
Vamos, Puerto Rico. You know what I mean? Let's do it. I'm actually trying to source a kit from those girls. I'm like, my God, I'm so happy to see potentially what could be rooting for Puerto Rican team. So in that event, I only have two teams that I root for.
Yeah.
Sadly, they're my colonizers, but it's either America or Spain that I root for. Obviously, if for whatever reason the cards were to unfold where if it was Spain and the US in the final, the only reason why I would vote for the US is just because they're such an underdog if that were to happen.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's Spain all the way. So that's how I started paying attention. And again, to be able to see them here in Atlanta was insane, but whatever. That's when I started buying in, and I know from everybody else coming in how much this meant to them traveling. So it was never lost on me. I never took it for granted, the experience that I have. And I'm just kind of like saying that out loud for you. Like, what did that feel like for you?
Yeah, for me, it was like a conscious effort every single day. So the first day that I got there, right, I already knew I was going to be taking Marta. Already knew I did not want to be downtown. Shout out to Marta, by the way. Marta killed it.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Killed it.
I brought this for visual aid.
Yeah.
I got to say, we have like top three worst, top three best things coming up here in a second. If you said that we were going to be doing this pod before all this kicked off, I thought Marta would definitely be on the top three worst.
Yeah.
Because it felt like they waited till the last minute to do any of their reconstruction, to do any of their ease of use for, which was never a thing that you would say in the same sentence with Marta, that I was like, this is going to be impossible. Yep. I took it on the way out and actual breeze, unintended.
Yeah, for real. It was super smooth. I didn't have a single issue with Marta, and I took it everywhere. I actually did a Patreon only episode partially. Tommy and Sydney were doing it, and I jumped in halfway through, literally riding Marta from Inman Park back down to College Park.
I love that.
So, and it was super easy, super smooth. So anyway, I say all that to say, got on Marta the first day, get to 5 Points, go west towards the SEC station, get out, and the moment I came out of the underground and I see the building that I've seen hundreds of times, right? The Benz, but to see it changed and to see the people there, Spain, Cabo Verde, that was the moment it just hit me in the face. And I made it a conscious effort from that moment to say, I am not going to take any of this for granted, period.
Yeah. I think it's easy, corporate capitalism here in America, to quantify it with the monetary value of it all. But I say that because you're scrolling on Instagram and you see people. I spent $10,000. I spent $100,000. I took out a more like you go. I'm getting paid. You know what I mean? Like it's wild. Again, as far as just how grateful I am, not taking it for granted. I mean, the conversations that I got to have, I'm sure for you as well, where you go, wow, like I have something really special. And I think that's why I demanded we do this, because I just wanted to put this on wax and have this as a memento that we can document and look back on, as far as, yeah, we were there and we're literally fresh off of seeing a crazy semifinal yesterday in Atlanta Stadium that we call Mercedes-Benz Stadium because we're so used to just going there for Atlanta United, which I want to say, cheers to you, man, because how far you've come, the fact that we have both worked our way into the stadium with the club, now the national team, as far as the people that you've gotten to interview, the affiliations that we've both been able to make. But for you, I wanted to give props because you posted a video yesterday that I was like, oh man, that's like so true. And I'm so inspired by you. Just saying thank you so much for supporting independent media. What was it like being in the press box with all of these big dogs? Were you the only indie station?
No, I wasn't the only indie. There was a handful. I made the joke. Our buddies Ben and Valaire from 615 Soccer, which is Nashville's one of their independent folks. They were my buddies. They, for whatever reason, FIFA put us next to each other in every match.
At least you had that.
Yeah. So, but it was cool. But that being said, we were definitely the minority for sure. Shout out to Doug, who is now independent and is doing his own thing. He was there. So another Atlanta guy. And then of course Soccer Down Here, like independent, they were there. So you had a few. But again, the vast majority in every game, even the quote unquote smaller ones, you still had your big timers, right? You have all of your big city newspapers, your national, international. You've got outlets coming from all over the world, not just the two countries that are there. But I mean, anytime you get Argentina involved, everybody shows up. Anytime you get England involved, everybody shows up. But even for like Haiti, you had Haitian outlets, and you know that's a story in and of itself, because for them to even be here, to get into the country after dealing with what's going on in their country, to be able to report on a soccer team that didn't play a single World Cup qualifier in their own country is insane. So like, there's those little stories there that we got to experience. And yeah, it was all about, like, from an independent perspective, just trying to set ourselves apart in the best way possible, trying to keep it local, because that's what we know, right? That's what we can report on that nobody else can. And it was fun. I mean, I'm always going to come out of this being like, oh, I wish I could have done more.
Sure.
But I did as much as I possibly could.
And I think with it being indie and with it being local, you really found such a brass ring, if you will, that Atlanta got the shine that it did.
Yeah.
And then you being local got to be the voice of that, if you will, capturing it. Bro, you were hustling. I think you came by the fan zone, I think, the first couple matches to say what's up, and then I never saw you again.
Yeah. It was so hard.
Yeah, it truly was. I mean, and I think as the matches started to progress, I gotta say, I mean, we jibbed Marta for a little bit, and also Atlanta. I'm sure you saw all the memes as well.
Oh, for sure.
As they were first coming out with the matches, as far as like the unveiling and what it all was going to be. The quote of the century is, "It feels like company is coming over and mom is telling us to pick up."
Yeah.
Because bridges that you're like, listen, this has been dark for centuries. And then now all of a sudden we are illuminated when we're going under them.
Yeah.
And then,
fresh coat of paint going on.
Fresh coat of paint, trash is being picked up. You know what I mean? There's some sketchier areas that now got a nice little glow up, if you will. Marta, of course, being the big thing where we're like, what do you mean you're now switching it to tap to pay?
Yeah.
Within weeks of the World Cup.
Yep.
What was it? Like one of the board members was saying, so what crowd should we expect? This is like a concert.
Yeah.
We go,
maybe
what?
Like a Super Bowl type situation.
I got to say, as we go in, so, right, I host. That's what I got into. So during this World Cup too, which again feels like a whole season.
Yeah.
I also was flown to New York. I was flown to LA. I was going to go to Boston for a second, but whatever. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But I got to see a
Still
number.
salty about that one.
Still a little salty about it. Whatever. It's okay. I got to see a number of the host cities in real time as the World Cup was going on. And now, here's the thing. LA, New York, they're hosting a final. LA is where the men's team played.
Yeah.
You would not have thought they were hosting a World Cup there in comparison to what Atlanta was putting on. Now, granted, I flew into LaGuardia. I didn't go to JFK. So, right, that is the international airport. So I will give you that caveat. But I am so proud of my city and the way that we showed up. You go to the airport, it's all there. From, I've got so many videos and a bunch of pictures and clips that I'm going to piece all together at some point when this is all said and done. But the moment you step into the terminal, you see, Atlanta, World Cup stuff. You see a bunch of this type of merchandise and swag and stuff
vending
just
machines
everywhere.
Yep.
That I did not see in LA, that I did not see in New York, where, again, you guys are hosting too. What's going on? You hop on the MARTA, and one, it's running efficiently, but it's also, again, littered with all of this stuff. You have your own cards that are, branded in the same way. You come out to Atlanta Stadium and it's all there.
Yep.
It's everywhere.
Yep.
That I did not see out there in those other two cities. So for me, proud that we stepped up, but embraced it the way that it did. We got so much love, I feel like, because of that, where it was just so hard to miss that there was, I don't know, the biggest sporting event in the entire world happening in our backyard. That, I mean, we made these other cities look bad, to the point where I've heard a number of outlets also say Atlanta should have been hosting the World Cup.
100%. The amount of times I've heard that over the past month and a half, honestly, since like the first game, I think that because the first game, all eyes are going to be on where Spain's at anyway, because Spain, number one in the world, or consistently in the top five, whatever. They're going to have eyes, when media had their eyes on this stadium and this city for the first time on, what was it, June 15th, I think it was, a couple of days after it started. And the visitors, the tourists, the fans from all over the world seeing this place really for the first time, that was one of my favorite parts of the entire tournament, was just seeing what I get to see on a weekly basis through everybody else's eyes, and it getting the flowers it truly, truly deserves.
I would agree with that, because you get spoiled here. But again, knowing the ecosystem that is, one, American soccer, but also how it compares to the rest of the globe. One could say, well, it's because we have an American football team here. That's why, we do it so big and so loud. It's because Arthur Blank is one of those, I'm just going to pour everything in there. That you see these stats. I forget what it was that Mercedes-Benz Stadium was number 7 in the world as far as like top 10, something like that, as far as like atmosphere, attendance. There was some type of ranking that came out.
Well, that's the thing. There's been so many. I mean, there's been attendance because, especially at Atlanta United's heyday,
that's exactly
consistently hitting top 10 attendance. I mean, because you got to think about it. They don't build stadiums like that.
No.
Hardly anywhere in the world.
No. And so using that as a metric to kind of compare to, you go, hold on, we're ready for this.
Yeah.
And you're just trying to see how ready you are in comparison. So when you do have the globe coming in and you get all of those sound bites that you were able to get, you got the one, which I still think, I don't think it's blasphemous because I'm proud of it. I just think it's blasphemous for the guy to say it, which was, "This beats Wembley."
Oh, yeah.
From an English fan.
Oh, yeah.
From England, like an OG Brit saying, "No, this blows Wembley out of the water." His words, not mine.
Yeah, he said it. This is a Homelander saying it, not us.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like those conversations, like I was able to capture that kind of conversation, but there were so many of those. Around that same time, I think it was leaving the stadium that day, hearing a guy go in the same kind of vein. Yeah, like even getting out of the stadium is better than Wembley. And I was like, dude, that conversation was 3 hours ago.
Yeah.
And this is some other dude talking about Wembley again and Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And now he's talking about how MARTA is easier to navigate than the Tube in London. And I'm like,
Little does he
wow.
know.
Right, right.
Buddy, you had a hotel that lived on that grid section.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you go to Marietta, tough luck.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find your way
Yeah.
connecting via an Uber or Lyft, which I had to do a couple times, which was a nightmare getting out just because of how packed. And again, they don't have 6-lane highways
No.
over there the way that we do. And there was still traffic going up north
Yeah.
outside of the stadium. So yes, I agree. If you're in this crosshair, you're perfectly fine getting to Mercedes-Benz or Atlanta Stadium. But man, it's so cool to see that reflected from other people traveling in. I have had this beautiful like smile on my face and just grin every night after a match in Atlanta of just going through TikToks and reels of people, whether it be from the UK, from Spain, South America, whatever, just being like, guys, America's pretty lit. I'm here in Atlanta, and I'm like, oh yes, you came to the right city.
Yep.
And I think too, just kind of expounding upon that, why I'm so proud of this city too, not just being embraced the way that it was, is that it really is a reflection of the community that already lives here.
Yep.
I mentioned LA and New York, and they have a good bit of that as well. But it's so cool to, like you said, I'm used to these streets.
Yep.
Where we've got a little Korea, a little China, a little Germany, go to Helen, go to, Beaver Highway, go to all these Duluth, all these different places. You're going to see many different ethnicities. Of course, Latin American population here too, that I feel like it was a love letter back home to their countries to welcome them in our yard here and say, hey guys, we got a cookout going on. Come on through, grab yourself a plate. And to see Haitian friends reuniting, like legitimately, I saw my Haitian friends reuniting with other friends from Haiti while we're, going through Centennial Park, to see people from the Congo, to see Uzbekistan, South Africa, all coming in to embrace the beautiful game, to me was so cool to see, because I'm like, you guys are probably sleeping on your cousin's couch.
Yeah.
Because we have your community reflected here in this city. So that's how I look at this whole thing, is that it's a love letter back home to this beautiful game. And I'm just so happy to have played a cog in that machine, if you will.
And that's the thing too. It's also from my perspective, and I actually did an article about this after the first game, because I got home and I just kind of had this like profound moment of emotion of just having the entire world on our doorstep, right? And LA can say the same thing. New York can say the same thing. Kansas City, Mexico City,
Sure.
All of the host cities can say that. But man, there is no Atlanta. There is no Hartsfield-Jackson, busiest airport in the world. There is no building like Mercedes-Benz Stadium anywhere in the world. I mean, look, you can look at SoFi, you can look at a few others. You're not going to find one that has the history of the Azteca, things like that. But Atlanta did it right. And to see the way Atlanta people, Georgia people, that very first day embraced the world and said, hey, Southern hospitality, like, come on, you're here and you're hanging out with us now. And here, look at our building that this very rich man built us. And
thank you, Uncle.
Yeah. Thank you, Uncle Arthur. And look at this city that has grown so much since the last time that we hosted a world event here in 1996. And look at what's happened since then. We're glad you're here, period. And we're glad you're here celebrating the beautiful game with us. It's so much fun.
I don't know if it was World Cup and the history that the game brings. Also, quick little shout out and plug to an Emmy nominated show that I got to work on, Georgia Stories. I was just getting off of working with GPB and PBS, hosting this show that's going to be basically for middle schoolers and high schools curriculum, learning about Georgia history. That in hosting a number of those episodes, I got a beautiful history, like refresher, if you will, on Georgia as a whole, Atlanta, the airport in Atlanta, the history of Savannah, and just all of that stuff, to see that I was already kind of glowing off of, to then go into the World Cup, where it's like, oh, I see a direct correlation to these things, the grid system in Savannah, to how that developed in New York, and then just how it inspired Terminus here in Atlanta. Like all of these things that now people can appreciate so many years later. That again, I was just coming off this high that is Atlanta and just Georgia as a whole, that then the World Cup comes in here,
Yep.
and it just takes that and goes, oh, cool. People are being able to appreciate this same level. I know we keep going on that, but the way that I kind of hearken this, shout out to my buddy Alex Rose and the Rose family. I love them. They're from LA. That I went out to go visit them, I want to say 12, 13 years ago. We met in Atlanta on a project here that was filming, and that's how we linked up. And then I would go visit them periodically out there, and have done so subsequently every year since. And one of the things that my buddy Alex did was when he took me around LA, it was very much a love letter to his city. He was like, oh man, that's where I made out with my first girlfriend. That's where I got into a fight. I tagged that wall over there upon every block from, Palisades to Venice, Santa Monica, you name it. That from that, over a decade ago, I was like blown away to the point where I wanted to do that here.
Yeah.
In Atlanta. I wanted to have that love for it as well, the way that he had love for his city. And so I've done that in the last decade or so. I hosted so many things for Ponce City Market when it first came to be. Obviously, there's a bunch of history with that building, but that's kind of how I fell in love more and more with the city, was through work like that and jobs like that. And of course, hosting for major Atlanta corporations like Chick-fil-A, Coca-Cola, Delta, that I got to go, this is me.
Yep.
I don't just live here, I am here.
Yep.
And I feel like so many of us, whether it was you, myself, some of my coworkers and friends, we all got to do that, like you said, where it was, hey, what do you have? Welcome, y'all. Welcome to the South, welcome to the A. And Ludacris being here, CeeLo Green being here, and those are free events that you can go and see in the public. Jermaine Dupri, when he was mixing in the halftime, whatever that is, during the semifinal, a bunch of Argentinians that were sitting next to me, they're whatever.
Yeah.
I'm hyped.
Yeah. I was like,
I'm like, welcome to Atlanta, spinning right. You have it no other way. And I'm just, again, so proud.
Yep.
So proud. Really, welcome to Atlanta.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. So Jermaine Dupri yesterday at the semifinal, you're talking about the halftime performance. He's got his set, right? He's got his booth. He's got his laptop, his MacBook up there. I almost fell out of my chair when I saw his MacBook sitting up there mounted, and he's doing his stuff on it. And the Apple logo on the backside had a FIFA sticker right on top of it.
Of course.
I mean, they're not going to let anybody else. Yeah.
No corporate sponsors, period. I mean, I think that a lot of the other cities can have their claim, right? Like this. But man, I'm biased, but I feel like we did it better. And I think we'll get into some of the topips that we kind of like wrote, because this will go on all day. We're just gushing over the city, reminiscing over like the wonderment of it all. That to stay on topic, we do have a run of show to help us stay on there.
We actually did have notes, but like, again, we could regurgitate this stuff all night.
Again, and then that was the whole point of this, was just to have this conversation, even if it was just you and I doing this, to have it recorded, and 5 years looking back, 10 years looking back, for our kids to reminisce, the younger ones at least. They could look at this conversation like, oh yeah, I do remember seeing that. My daughter, who's about to be 2 years old, I like everybody, tries to get them into soccer, because they're like, you know what, that's actually the sport that's going to be paying in the future. She could care less about kicking a soccer ball now, because she saw it on TV so many times. She was like, oh, is that soccer? I love soccer. And now she's wanting to kick the ball. I'm like, girl, we are going pro. Let's make it happen.
NWSL 2028 Atlanta. Let's go.
But it's cool to see these, it doesn't feel artificial anymore. I feel like with so many World Cups, because it's abroad, Qatar last time, we mentioned South Africa before, that you just don't feel like it's tangible in a way, especially for Americans. Let's be real. You know what I mean? Not all of us are football or soccer fans. So the fact that we got to be one of the host nations, but especially Atlanta hosting, what was it, the second most matches throughout all of it? Again, I feel like we took it on in stride, and the world fell in love with us. So speaking of the world falling in love with us, let's transition into I feel like top 3 moments. Or should we start with the good news or the bad news?
Let's start. Let's get the bad news out of the way.
I feel like that's fair.
Yeah.
We've been gushing so far.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna just go hard pivot. This sucked. No. Okay, so if you will, worst moment. Is there one that comes to mind for you specifically, as far as around the city, FIFA in general, but more so again, Atlanta centric?
Yeah, but I think when you talk about Atlanta, obviously, we can talk about like us and what Atlanta is personally and what Atlanta is to the rest of the world. But each city had their slate of games, right? And once you got out of the group stages, you didn't know who you were getting. You know who you could get. You didn't know who you were getting. And Atlanta ended up with Argentina twice, England twice, to be fair.
Spain twice.
Spain twice, yeah.
I'll take that.
100%. And like, I think that's great no matter what. I love that we had such a good mixture. My bad part of it is going back to as recently as last night. This was the only time that I think there was a moment where I felt like, oh, why are y'all acting like this? Why are our fans? We haven't had any issues. We have had 0 issues the entire time. And it's not that it's a knock on it's definitely not a knock on Atlanta. I gotta give shout out, like the security. It was mentioned. Turtle mentioned it in the chat. Like the security was on point. You had law enforcement everywhere. You had security everywhere. There's nothing much you can really do, and the world has showed that over and over again on the football stage. Go to a River Plate Boca match.
Oh, you're talking about Argentina.
In Argentina, right? They can't control it either. So how do you expect to control it here when you have the Argentine national team in a semifinal match? It's not going to happen. But there were so many little things yesterday that came out of just like fights and people getting arrested and some racism thrown around, and that to me was the one little stain I think that I can look back on.
Yeah,
off the rip.
I can second that as somebody who worked the fan experience.
Yeah.
And got to deal with all of these.
Yeah.
Again, 8 matches we hosted here.
Yep.
I don't know because some of them were repeats, but let's just say, for lack of better words, 14 different countries, 16 different countries, something if you will, something like that. So I got to see as well, like on the ground floor, post-match and pre-match, what these fans were all about.
Some alcohol, lots of alcohol.
Exactly. Exactly. And to kind of yes and your point there, it really was. They really were the bad guys. I mean, I tried to avoid as much as I could from the social medias of the world, although I do have, being Latino, my own take on it, and try to go in ignorance is bliss with it. But they were here twice, and both times it did have to be them because we hosted, Congo, we hosted South Africa, we hosted Haiti, Morocco, we hosted Spain, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. And literally never had a problem at all at any point. And we hosted England twice. Now, I will say, if there was a runner-up, England was the runner-up for like rowdy or obnoxious fan, if you will, but nothing that you would say uncontrollable, unmanageable. It's just like, all right, it's the hooliganism and whatever. It did have to be them. Yeah. And they showed themselves twice. And I feel like if I didn't see it with my own eyes, again, doubling down, I probably would have tried to steer clear of it. I will say, as somebody who is neither like a Ronaldo or Messi stan, I'm one who wants to see greatness. Yeah. No matter who and what shape it comes from, because I've always kind of been of the adage of like, if this is going to be the GOAT, if this is who we're going to honor, I want to see them succeed. I want them to thrive. So I can look back and say, I got to see them play. Yep. And so give them their flowers, whether it be LeBron James, Messi, I don't care. But I will say what I hate about this World Cup in particular is the fact that if he is going to be that one, this is a big stain on his legacy in the sense of the fans, but also the team as a whole not really being the most well received, whether it is acts of racism from the past, but also the calls that they were given, the draws that they're given. Yeah. 1 point or 2 points, it kind of becomes a coincidence. 3, 4, 5 times in a row, you go, oh, this is a pattern. Yeah. And
there's a lot going on here.
Had I not seen it again with my own eyes and been there in the moment, I would have been like, guys, I feel like you're hating, but I was behind enemy lines. I was
Yeah.
in the Argentina side during yesterday's match.
Yeah, because you were down there like in the corner, right where the main like supporter section was.
Absolutely. And I was wearing red. Now, looking how I look, I think I got a little bit of a pass.
Yeah.
But still, there were a lot of words that were thrown out.
Yeah.
There were in songs and chants, and sadly, I saw that ripple out. Not just, I'm one that I can kind of separate the game from, a way. Like once the whistle blows, cool,
Yeah.
we're all good.
Yeah.
Because that was what I saw 90% of the time was, chirping back and forth, whether it was Uzbekistan or Congo, whatever. Yeah. But once the match wrapped up, every time, I guess yesterday, I saw, hey man, cheers.
Yeah,
good
time.
We'll swap kits, hey, good on you, whatever. Best of luck, whatever it was.
Yeah, out there dancing together, like having a good time. Yeah, yesterday was
not that situation. It was punches were thrown, like visibly. I saw like army swatted up, police officers having to escort people out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just one instance; it was multiple times. Yep. And again, you would see your drunkard fan here and there. Because I had the privilege of being able to see. I know you were stuck in the press box.
Yeah,
stuck.
Yeah,
but I could say that I got to see the 300s, the 200s, and the 100s throughout all these matches. And yeah, I mean, didn't matter how high or how low, they were the problem. To say that very, very least. So I get that. All right, my thing. Moving on from that would be. I would say FIFA as a whole. Salty about Boston because of a couple things here. I don't know what it is about planning for a event where something is going to be needed. I throw in this joke because I had a gig pulled for me that was a FIFA co-opted gig from, let's just say, one of these sponsors of the World Cup. That literally in the 11th hour was pulled from me.
Like minutes to midnight.
Minutes to midnight pulled from me where I was going to be flying to Boston and interviewing soccer legends and being able to participate in that match in Boston too. This was the France-Morocco match. And you just go, why? Like, you guys knew about this. I auditioned for this. Like, there was a whole process like that I had to be vetted for. And, it was one of those things where it was a little bit of a microcosm of the whole thing. And what I mean by that is whether it was merch, whether it was ticketing, there was this sense of you guys are really putting on a Band-Aid and saying, no, this is fresh new paint.
Yeah.
I sadly went to go get merch yesterday. I finally was able to get some merch for some friends that I'm like, oh, perfect. I can grab this, hook them up, whatever. And you could see even in the FIFA co-branded stores, like not co-branded, FIFA stores. It was the FIFA store right before going in the fan zone where they sold me knockoff merch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, just don't sell the thing then.
Yeah.
You're sold out. That happened before and that's fine. But like knockoff jerseys, I basically just threw $100 away because I'm like, that's a knockoff jersey and it's from the FIFA store. Some of the match day clothing as well. So I say that again, microcosm as a whole, because it bled into the merchandising. It bled into ticketing. Yeah. I know early on tickets were astronomical. One of my friends who was there for the Haiti match won the lottery to pay $200 for a seat in the 300s.
Yep.
When have you ever won a lottery to pay $200?
Yeah.
Again, now in comparison to,
I mean, that's the thing, $200, you still got to go to the game.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
But you had to win a lottery to get the $200 price.
Plan around that.
That's insane.
That's wild.
So I know early on in like the Spain Cabo Verde match, Spain Saudi Arabia match, I texted you. I was like, dude, I'm seeing a lot of red chairs here in the stadium.
Yeah.
This should be packed.
Yep.
It's Spain. It's the World Cup.
Yep.
Like what's going on here? And luckily they did find, I feel like a pricing solution, but just FIFA being FIFA, man, and really pricing people out from the start. So that's what I mean. Like I throw up the merch thing, I throw up the ticketing thing, because again, FIFA just being FIFA bled into everything.
Yeah.
And you could see that with, of course, them pricking their prize pony and the way that they call their matches, if you will, rules for thee and not for me. And the way that they price their, their things, kind of a bummer in the sense of yesterday's semifinal match too. The 100s, all corporate, all influencers.
Oh yeah.
Not saying that people didn't get to sit in the 100 section, but I saw way more influencers and corporations and all of that in the 100 sections than I did before. And I was at the 100s during the Congo England match.
Yeah.
So that's a knockout round, and I'm there low in that corner section there in the 100s, and never sniffed corporations. If anything, they were in the suites.
Yeah, right.
Right, or on the sideline, and you expect that, but couldn't sniff past the 100s at all. And again, like, listen, I got in there for free. I'm not complaining as far as what I got to experience.
Right.
I'm talking about the fan.
But that's the thing.
The people that are paying for these.
It's the same conversation that we've had honestly since the pricing started coming out. It was like, how am I going to bring my kid or my family to this game, right? Like, without taking out a loan, or something like it. It's not going to happen. And if you do get to go, yeah, grateful. No matter how you get there, be grateful. But in the example of your buddy getting the lottery, paying still a significant chunk of money, and I saw those seats. They were up there.
I had a nosebleed.
I mean, up there in parts of the bins I didn't know existed. So yeah, I mean,
but such a fun time.
But that's the thing. Still had a great
time.
But it's the fact that we even have to have that conversation. That's the negative part about it. Like, man, it just, I get it, because I know that if they priced every ticket at, $200, $300, $400, whatever, like, you're going to be sold out literally in 30 seconds. But it is frustrating. It's the people's game. Yeah. And here you have, half of a lower bowl full of, corporate sponsors. And it's just frustrating.
And I think that segues into the third point, unless you have something different.
No, that's right on.
So FIFA is its own thing. And then you have corporate greed that I put on as far as like the biggest thing that really kind of takes some of the enjoyment out of it. Obviously, there's the hydration breaks, right? Yeah. Which, listen, you could convince me of that in Qatar. Right. It's the whole reason why you guys had to push it to December.
Right.
Totally understood with that. But now to do it here, it reeks of American capitalism that doesn't need to be involved in this. That cool, whatever. Again, the world's watching. You want to do your hydration breaks, make it 2 minutes or less.
Yeah.
They're used to none. Right. They're used to not having it at all. But make it quick. And it felt like they kept extending the time. I remember being there. I'm sure you heard it too. Every time there would be a hydration break, so many boos across. It was the one thing that we all agreed on. Yep. Didn't matter who won. Yep. It was boo. Why are we doing this? That, again, it reeked into everything. Again, microcosm into the greater scheme of it, because the corporate greed, buying out the 100s for the semifinal, also buying out so many tickets and then reselling those tickets as a FIFA ticket. Yeah. Like, what is that about? Yep. That should have never been allowed. I saw a couple reels yesterday that really made me disappointed, because there was a couple people that I ran into, just fans on Marta, whatever it was. They're like, hey, can I get a ticket? Looking for scalpers. And at first I was telling people, especially during the group stage, no, you don't need to.
Yeah.
If you're willing to pay the price, they actually have the ticketing office literally right outside of the stadium that, if they have viable tickets, you can buy them. Now, granted, you have to pay whatever price, but there are tickets available. That sadly, things like, yesterday or some of the knockout rounds, I saw people that got ripped off from scalpers because the tickets were priced out. I
had people coming up to me yesterday asking me for tickets. And I'm like, I got no, I'm media.
and they were, just priced out of being able to do that. That actually ruined the attendance overall. I feel like going to our point before when I said this stadium should have been sold out. So I have a little back end knowledge for a bunch of my friends who also worked some of these events during World Cup, whether it was the fan watch fests or inside the fan zone, or even like in the greater Atlanta area for hotels. And hotels also shot themselves in the foot because, just like World Cup ticketing, they priced their rooms through the roof.
Yep.
To where they had to then dial back and go, oh, no. We're actually, whatever the opposite of at capacity is, we've got occupancy.
Yeah. That vacancy on the no vacancy sign, that no
Yeah.
is not,
they knocked that part off.
Yeah.
Just because, again, they overpriced themselves and they got into a situation where like, oh, no, we got to reel this back. We've done too far. But at that point, it was too late.
Yep.
And people, again, you're taking mortgages out of your house or your car, which I'm not recommending to do.
No, please don't do that.
But people have, and they did it. And you can't plan to take out a mortgage if you don't know if you're going to stay somewhere.
Yeah.
So that to me was like another just, this is of course ruining everything with the dynamic pricing, with the StubHub stuff that happened. I saw so many people at last minute ticket cancellations where StubHub canceled their tickets.
Just dipped out on
them. And so to me, that whenever we talk about the game, I'm like, the more we can get rid of that stuff, the better I feel like the overall product would be. Sadly, it feels like that's the way that everything is going right now. I hope that this is just another reminder for us to resist that, because there is something beautiful on the other side of that rainbow. Yeah. We want to buy the thing. We want to go to the event.
Yeah.
Stop making it impossible or pricing us out of like mediocrity. So
100%. And that's the thing. Like, you can talk about the hydration breaks. Like, I'm not opposed to the actual act of a hydration break. It's not that. Like, there's an argument, right? Of, you have this kind of first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter type situation. But when you have a moment, right, in between those 45 minutes to take a breather, grab some water, you come back out, and we saw so many goals get scored just on the other side of a hydration break. Now, is that because the other team didn't come out the way they needed to? Was because there was a tactical little tweak in that couple of minutes while they're drinking water? Or is it the fact that they're able to breathe a little bit more and they got more energy to put forth in the game? Like, fine, that can change the game to a degree in whatever way. I don't really care about that. To me, it's presented by Powerade. Stop, dude. I don't need that. I don't want to know that it was presented by Powerade. I just want you to say, hey, cool, dude. We're blowing the whistle for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Look at the Halo board. We're going to play some music. It'll be fun. The crowd's going to get involved. It gives you a minute to go to the bathroom, take a piss, get another beer for your own hydration, whatever you decide to do. But don't slap me in the face with commercials like happened on Fox. Fox, I don't know if you saw the stat. I watched literally 99% of the matches in this World Cup on Telemundo.
Yeah.
And I love that, especially in the beginning, Telemundo was dogging American media for basically making this like a capitalistic type situation. But I think ultimately it was just one of those situations where we don't want it. We don't want more commercials. We don't want this. And Fox, the stat came out that they basically paid off what they had to pay to get the rights for this World Cup just through these extra commercials. So everything they're making on top of that is just money in the bank. So it's like, oh, I guess it worked for you.
Yeah.
But I don't like the breakup in the game for the people sitting at home who, I'm not trying to be a football purist or anything, but like, if I'm watching football, if I'm watching soccer, I want to watch from the opening whistle to 45 minutes without seeing a sniff of a commercial.
Honestly, that's one of the reasons why I could really care less about watching the Super Bowl nowadays.
Yeah.
It used to be, you know what, you're going to get commercials, but you're going to be entertained in these commercials.
Yeah.
Now it is so much of like, I'm trying to sell you something to where I'm like, dude, whatever. Whatever. The only reason why I watched last Super Bowl, obviously, Boricua in the house, Benito doing his thing, Bad Bunny, 100%. Because it just has become this whole like, corporations have bought this time, and we're going to make you buy.
Yeah.
So outside of all that, the good things, the best things. I think kind of what we've already been alluding to so many times is just the fact that it was this collective love of the game.
Yeah.
I mean, to be able to be at home and to see Congolese people coming in here rejoicing, people from Uzbekistan making us smile. Yeah. They're really stoic people.
They really are.
They're really stoic people.
And their chants in the stadium reflected them as a whole. Their chant was like a war drum. Like, I mean, we're talking like, I'm getting ready to like suit up and go to battle.
Yeah.
And but that's a reflection of them. And I think that's such a beautiful thing that you have all of these countries, you don't think of Uzbekistan when you think of football, but they show up and they're like, hey, man, this is our version of football. And I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So for me, it's just that collective thing for everything from South Africa, from England, from Argentina, just that collective like worship of this game. And again, embracing of our city. I think we don't have to go too long on that because we were talking about it before, but that's to me one of the bigger highlights as far as three best things that I loved.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think all these things are going to tie in together, I think, because we've been so embedded and threaded through everything that's gone on in the World Cup in the city. I think from an Atlanta perspective, there were so many things. Yeah, we talk about not being able to go to the games because so many people are priced out of them or whatever. But, we have families. We live right here in and around Atlanta. We were able to pack in so much stuff because Atlanta did it right. You had the Fan Fest, which, and we have like stats on that in a minute, but like the Fan Fest blew it out of the freaking water. Decatur Watch Fest was a banger. Marietta did stuff. So many cities. I mean, I could sit here all day and name them all. So many cities did stuff. And you had the little watch parties. You had people hanging out at their houses throwing watch parties. There was just so many places to go. Shout out to Kevin Egan. He opened up a brand new bar called the Irish Exit.
What a time.
What a time
to open.
Sure. And then you had the Cosm that opened, and they were doing watch parties right there next to the stadium. There were so many businesses, private, but things put on by the city and the committee and everything else that made the entire metro area such a banger of a place to go watch games. You could always find a place to go have a good time.
So yours is the fan fests in general, as far as
the overall aura,
the happenings.
Yeah.
And again, that kind of goes to my point as far as like going to these other cities. Like I was in the Lower East Side, I was in Manhattan, I was in downtown LA, I was in the Palisades.
Yep.
And you wouldn't have thought that they were hosting a World Cup.
Yeah, which is a shame.
And here, Decatur, I know you guys went.
Yeah, dude.
Obviously,
Decatur.
Centennial Park, Midtown area was lit with just traffic. Anytime a match day was present, I was like, all right, guys, you're crowd surfing basically to get through downtown Atlanta because of just how many people were there.
Yeah.
I know for myself during the Haiti-Morocco match, we paused to go up to a rooftop bar at one of the hotels just to wait out all of the fans leaving because it was going on the entire night. And I'm sure all the other matches were too, but I mean, there were after parties at the District. There was after parties in Buckhead. There was so many happenings happening that you could, pick your litter from as far as where you wanted to go, what kind of experience you wanted to have, because it was just everywhere. And also, like, you had CeeLo Green you got to watch?
Yeah, I got to see CeeLo, got to see Luda. And again, I mean, we split our time between so many different places. We were everywhere. And still was able to go see CeeLo and still was able to go see Luda. And again, Kevin Egan, shout out to him because he was emceeing a lot of it. There'd be days where like I would go cover the game and then go straight from there to the Fan Fest. And man, it was just, if you didn't know anything about the World Cup somehow, and you were dropped somewhere right in the middle of Atlanta, right in the middle, you would know about the World Cup in a matter of seconds, and you would be right in the middle of a party in a matter of seconds. You walk in any direction and you would have been literally at the epicenter of soccer. Yeah. And I think that's a wonderful thing because that's exactly what Atlanta's trying to build.
Yeah, just with all the things to do, free things to do. I know they had to ticket it at some point because they just got crazy capacity. And I know some of the things were paid, but they were just free activities that you could just stumble upon and enjoy. And then also, I don't know if it's like a proper plug or whatever. Men in Scarves?
Men in Blazers.
Men in Blazers ranked one of our Irish pubs as like the best like pub to.
So that was Brewhouse. So Brewhouse, shout out to Brewhouse over in Little 5 Points. They actually opened up a new spot right there near the stadium as well. But Men in Blazers, article is on scarvesandspikes.com, by the way.
Hey, plug.
They named Brewhouse the best soccer bar in the United States.
So
that was going back like last year, but
when you have things like that, there's things you could just stumble into, walk into, as far as, hey man, this thing's going on. I want to be a part of it. I want to see it.
Yep.
Let's make it happen. And you could do it without even being in like the FIFA co-opted events.
Just doing stuff with people in general. I mean, the Beltline. Big shout out to our friends at Like Minds. They're a group that we're talking to, and they have such a wonderful spot. If you don't know where that's at, the old Brewdog location at Krog Street. But like that whole Beltline area was always having something going on. I mean, it was just traffic nonstop. And again, if you weren't really a soccer person, you weren't getting away from all the soccer stuff going on. You probably got sucked into some World Cup activities if you were in and around the city at all.
Yeah, I did. It's so wild because you went to Decatur. Obviously we were working downtown. I didn't even sniff Midtown.
Yeah.
And I'm sure because Beltline is always packed on a weekend, especially during the summer, that I didn't even sniff Midtown because I was just always down in the city no matter what. But I'm sure, that would have been insane, wall-to-wall traffic just down there.
Just
vibing,
nonstop.
moving, grooving, vibing.
And that's like a very much Atlanta United area too. So it's all there.
So I think as a by the numbers here, kind of tying in for what we're highlighting here, 544,516 fans came to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium to watch these matches here out of these last 8 runs. Over 2,000 media were there. Hey, you were part of that.
Hey, I was.
From 82 different countries, more than 2,000 volunteers. I'm looking at over.
Shout out to the volunteers, by the way.
Oh,
the volunteers, sure. they killed it, and the MARTA volunteers as well.
Yeah, I know I said that I would, sniff grass and pick up trash in order to do and have the experience that I had. But I got to say, if it meant that I was working at the MARTA station and not the stadium, I would have been really disheartened.
Yeah.
So whoever you are, thank you.
Yeah.
May you never buy a drink for the rest of your life.
For real. You deserve a medal and then some.
Because MARTA, I can speak for myself, was and I'm talking about myself, very smelly after some of these matches.
Oh, yeah.
I felt so bad to let a woman sit in my seats just because it meant that I would have to raise my arm to hold the handrail.
Yeah.
Because some of these matches were hot and humid.
I mean, the whole city was hot and humid. And that's the thing. I got so tired of sweating just from walking to the stadium and getting interviews on the way. And I'm like, God, I just want the AC.
Speaking of MARTA, over 2.5 million riders used it during this.
That's amazing.
Did MARTA somehow make our top 3 list?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
The more I go over and over in my head about my entire experience, I think MARTA, even when we started the show, I was like, man, I kind of think MARTA needs to be in there because I have benefited so much. Now I've spent a significant chunk of change with the amount of MARTA that I've ridden, but
sure.
It's 250. I've just ridden it a lot because I had to, but it was smooth. It worked. It got me where I had to go. It got me close to where the places I needed to go. And it did it efficiently, which we can give MARTA all the crap from years past. And I know some people are like, oh, I hope it doesn't go back to the way it was before. I hope it doesn't either. That's a conversation for the future. But during this World Cup, all of it, MARTA has been the real MVP.
And to that point, MARTA was able to not only have, over 2.5 million people, but over 500,000 people attended these fan festivals.
Yeah.
And that's largely in point of MARTA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you got to Decatur. That's how I got back to North Springs to get out of Dodge.
Yep. I mean, the Decatur one is literally on top of the MARTA station.
I feel like Paul Rudd right now. Who would have thought?
Yep.
Not me.
Not me.
Not me. So shouts out to MARTA. I mean, honestly, that's what I took to go to the airport when I did have to fly out to New York and LA during all of this because I was not going to deal with traffic.
Yep.
Man, I honestly, it feels like, I mean, you've got 4 children. I've only got the one, but it feels like the one kid you had to worry about actually graduated with honors and is surprising you.
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming.
Turned his life around.
Turns his life around. So, hey, shouts out. I wish MARTA could go to Marietta. How about that?
For real. And bring it down here to McDonald's.
Please. Please. All right. So 3 best. Didn't see the MARTA being
Not right. It's snuck in.
It's like I'm honestly a proud child of that. That's what it feels like. All right.
He turned out all right.
What would you say? Because we got to witness all these matches.
Yep.
What was your favorite match to watch?
So the thing is, like, we kind of discussed a little bit of this. We actually didn't talk a whole lot about our answers before this, just so y'all know. But we did talk a little bit about this when he asked this question. I had to think about it for a second, right? Because we saw some bangers. We saw some historical moments, which we'll talk about too. From a sheer emotional roller coaster perspective, which I think is what I rate a lot of good soccer matches on when I have no stake in the game, at least. I have to give it to Haiti, Morocco.
Haiti, Morocco. I had that answer plugged as mine before, and so when we talked, I was like, "Buddy, you cheated. You stole my answer." But it really was. And remember, guys, I was in the 300s nosebleeds.
Yep.
I think some of it had to do with the fact that I was there with my boys.
Yeah.
My bachelor party group, the guys that I've known for over a decade. Shout out to the Estamans, Atkins Estaman, Rick Estaman. I love the fact, for me, seeing them live these moments through their father's eyes was it was so rejoiceful as far as the collective happiness that they had, where it almost brought tears to my eyes. And one of the historic moments that we got to see, of course, was Haiti's first goal in over 50 years. I did not know that going in, and to have his father in that moment tell me that's why he's cheering so loud. I really hope that they heard us from the 300s all the way down to the pitch.
Oh, yeah.
Just because everybody, again, little Haiti was in the house.
Oh, yeah.
It was just such a proud moment. And then also, of course, being Caribbean, shout out to the fellow Caribe, where it was that moment of like, hey, we're in this.
Here.
You know what I mean? Where we could all collectively kind of celebrate and cheer on that moment. And I will say, we kind of do bring a little sazon, a little flavor, and a little rhythm to the beautiful game that I feel like a lot of the other countries were missing out on. Like even in the fan zone leading up to the match, our face painters that were hooking people up with their flags or whatever the match entailed, they said that the Moroccan Haitian match was the best one as far as like an overall experience from the fan level. That the people were the best from both Morocco, but of course Haiti as well. They were the funniest, they were the loudest, they were most cheerful. But of all the matches that we hosted, all the different countries, that was the most lit, most energetic, most fun crowd, was those two countries coming together. So shouts out to Haiti and Morocco, of course, but obviously my bias leans towards the Haitian sensations because, man, I mean, I was for that match the highest viewing seat out of all 8 matches, but it was the best experience I had out of all 8 matches.
I think there's like 2 things when I look at that match. There's the game, and like I said, the roller coaster of emotions that it put me through, and everybody, because you had Haiti. It's not about them scoring the first goal in over 50 years. It's the fact that they scored first against Morocco. And then,
well, technically, right, it was an own goal. It was an own goal that first one.
It was, but man, when you go back and watch it, he tried like a little back heel flick. And he did it, but the touch happened, and that it constituted itself as an own goal. Whatever. So but first goal, that they all count the same, right? Because it wasn't one of those. It was like, oh, he passed back to the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper just misplayed it. Like this was an intentional attempt at goal. It went in. Place goes freaking nuts, and then Morocco equalizes, as you were thinking they were going to do. And then they did it again, and it was like, oh my god! Literally, that was my face. I had the Joe Rogan kind of moment in the press box, and I was like, oh my god! Like I can't sit here and actually try to claim that they're going to win this match, but man, what a show.
I mean, look, now it was a tall order, to be fair, but it was also at a moment in time, had they done so well, if they blew Morocco out of the water, they could have advanced. So it was one of those things where it's like, you're saying there's a chance. because nothing was set
something
in
to
stone
hold
at the
on to.
time. Yeah. So, I mean, if you will, it wasn't for naught.
Yeah.
There was something there that had some stakes in it that made that goal feel even more real. That I'm, again, happy to have witnessed it, because to be able to see it again in the flesh was one of those things where I'm chilling with Haiti and Isidore. There we go. I was looking up for the striker that I feel like they can actually claim.
Yeah.
First goal in 50 years.
Yep.
Was from Isidore.
Yep.
So,
and Gray saying, which player from the match has played at the Benz would you like to see Atlanta sign? Bro, that guy put forth all the effort.
Yeah. Honestly, proud to see him. Not to go deep into that match, but it did stink the fact that I feel like their midfield couldn't get it together.
Yeah.
There was a lot of miscommunications and misfirings where it would bounce off of the back of their heel as they're trying to do a through pass. But Isidore, for sure, you've got a fan base in Atlanta.
100%.
If we're trying to have some Caribbean representation, I would be happy to sign him.
100%.
Because, to see that, we said Haiti, Morocco. I have my bias there, but also, of course, seeing it through my friends and everything. That, again, see it through their dad. Again, just to kind of put that in perspective. I think their father is late 60s, 70s. So for him, he was a teenager.
Yeah.
The last time he saw Haiti score.
Yep. And think of what Haiti has been through in that time, but as recently as within the past couple of years, Haiti as a football team didn't get to play a single qualifying match inside their own country. Yeah. They had to play them in, I think it was Curacao, which is like 400 miles away over the Caribbean. So you did this. You got into the World Cup not having played in front of your own stadium.
Only away games, basically.
Basically away games, yeah. And then you get here and you have those kind of moments. Like, dude, that was just that type of emotion. That was, I think, if I could encapsulate my favorite moments, it was those type. It was like the Cabo Verde Vizinha masterclass.
I was going to say, because we had that same answer, and I guess we'll get into it now. The other one that I will say, in that moment, obviously you don't know what it's going to materialize into, but seeing that first match be Spain, Cabo Verde.
Yep.
And you're like, these are the what are they called? The
Blue Sharks?
No. As far as like their first entry into the World Cup.
Oh yeah.
They ended up becoming the belle of the ball, but at first they were, who are these unknowns?
Yeah.
You just kind of treat them as like,
small island nation.
They expanded the amount of teams that are coming in. That's why I'm gonna get them in here, whatever. But then you see the shutout progress and you go, hold on. This is huge for them. Like with every block, I had the privilege, I think I was in the 200s at this time, of having, I was right there on the tail end of the row, and I had like Cabo Verde fans, like legit from Cabo Verde, they were sitting right next to me, and hearing them cheer and go on. And one person you could see was like in it, and then I think his girlfriend or wife, whatever, was just there to support her man. You know what I mean? And so we're cheering. I'm like, this is huge for you, because husband's dialed in.
Oh yeah,
he's up the whole time. You know what I mean? All 90, and so he's locked in. She's just like, yeah, baby, whatever. And of course, like sing stuff happen. I'm like, no. This is huge. This is incredible
history right now.
And so obviously, right, like not having a revisionist history here, but you don't know what that's going to turn into. But seeing it in the moment, I was very aware, like, and cognizant, this is huge.
Yeah. Them
going out of here, walking away with a shutout against Spain, who is a favorite in this tournament right now. And who are you? Who are you? And to see that match is what made Vizinha go viral.
Yeah.
And go on. I'm like, good on him.
He was on what? Was it USA? No. It was, anyway, one of the big talk shows this morning.
Probably on all.
Because of this whole thing. Like, the dude had to go back home and then fly back for interviews.
Insane.
Nobody would have expected that.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention that match.
100%.
Because Spain, Cabo Verde, and honestly, that match, what they did against Uruguay, what they did against Saudi Arabia, and obviously what they did against Argentina, I feel like a lot of people really sniffed past them, as in like, whatever going in. But I think had it not been for some questionable calls there against Argentina.
Yep.
I don't know how you look at Cabo Verde other than a powerhouse.
Yeah.
They are synonymous with, I think, the bigger teams in that tournament. So I just look forward to their future.
Yeah.
And it started with that match, so I'll say that and just kind of pin on that note. I don't think you can look at Cabo Verde in the future as anything but a formidable foe.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I think it's like what, maybe not to the same degree, but it's what everybody kind of saw with Morocco back in 2022,
Yeah,
where it was
sure.
like, all right, cool, Morocco's in it. If you knew anything about the way that Morocco had been building their football program, which I wrote about on scarvesandspikes.com as well. But like most people didn't know that, but they had been trying to build something significant for 20 years, and it paid off in Qatar in 2022. But they were still very much like a Cinderella story back then. So then they get to the semifinal, and it's like, okay, well, let's see if they can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So they get here to 2026, and you think, all right, you do have some big shoes to fill. You got to come back and do something similar. You got to have a respectable performance, and they did in the grand scheme of things. But that was Cabo Verde this time. Now, Cabo Verde and Morocco, two very different countries in terms of size, population, everything else.
Yeah.
But Cabo Verde, they were disciplined. They knew the type of football they wanted to play. Yes, Vazinha had an absolute like golden glove type World Cup, but this was a team effort. I mean, you dunked 2 on Argentina.
Mm-hmm.
You dunked, like, you did the job when it mattered. So if you can keep the discipline, yeah, I think you gotta really like keep an eye out for this group of guys going forward. Now, are they going to go and win the whole thing in 2030? I don't know, but I wouldn't count them out.
I think it's fair to say that they're in the same leagues as Japan. You know what I mean?
I can see that,
they go into a group and you go, they're probably getting out of that group.
Yeah.
You know, how far they make it to the knockout round, you know?
Yep.
So I look at them like that. And I think that's a nice little segue into just the historic moments around Atlanta Stadium specifically and the environment. So obviously we mentioned the first ever World Cup match for Cabo Verde, but also in the whole tournament for Atlanta being Spain and Cabo Verde. And what a match to witness, even though it was 0-0. Still, I was happy to be a part of it. One, as a Spain fan, but also to see Cabo Verde have their birth of really their whole nation really getting respect on their name. I'm sure their tourism is going to skyrocket.
Oh, for sure. For sure. So, I love seeing the videos of their team landing back in Cabo Verde. And like the entire like airport is like lined up for them. It was cool. As a quick aside, after the fact, going and interviewing people, and I interviewed a handful of folks that they'd flown in. Some of the, like some family had flown in. A lot of them are from the U.S. Like I think they gave me the stat that there are more Cabo Verdeans, I guess it would be called, here in the U.S. than there are actually in Cabo Verde now.
Wow.
And a lot of them are very much like up in like Rhode Island.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
But they were like almost in tears, just talking about like, man, we did this against those guys, and
Uruguay, Saudi Arabia,
Argentina, and like Spain. Killed it. And I interviewed one of them, and he goes, I asked him, at what point did you feel like it was actually going to happen? And for me, sitting there in the stadium, the longer the game drew on, I was like, man, this is like, even if they get knocked out like at the very end, this is significant. Mm-hmm. Great. But that very first game, it was the 80th minute that I was like, they might do this. They might do this. And then I asked these guys after, and they were like, it was the 80th minute. That was when it like hit us, man. We were going to pull this off. And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm so happy for y'all.
Absolutely. And I think too, they scored, not in Atlanta, but I think they scored the best goal in the entire tournament as well, with the one that they did against Argentina.
Yeah.
To push it over. I mean,
banger.
I don't think I've seen a better goal than that one still in the tournament yet.
Nope. We were sitting out here watching it, and
what a goal.
The angle, I think that was what made it so good too. The angle that the camera just has of being on the pitch, you see him cut back and take the shot, and the ball was maybe halfway to the goal when I stood up and started screaming. I was like, that's going in. Yeah, that's going in.
And I love that he went back to celebrate with his girl. I felt like that was such a thing to, honor his wife or his girlfriend that way. I thought that was beautiful. So we have, of course, the debut of them. Loudest fan festival by far, for sure. I feel like. Oh yeah. I mean, lit. Whether you were screaming for Ludacris, CeeLo Green, or just the matches in general.
My ears are still ringing.
We saw Lamine Yamal's first goal.
We did.
I heard Lamine Yamal's first goal, because after, I don't know if it was like the second goal that he had scored that one or whichever one it was, but you guys are going to hate me. But when you have the privilege of being able to attend all of these matches, I was like, all right, cool. It was Father's Day on that day, and I had to actually fly to LA. So I was like, I do want to beat this traffic trying to go back home and then relocate back down to the airport to at a gig to fly to. Again, I was going to LA, so I'm like, I can't miss this flight. I, dipped in and then dipped out. But I heard that goal. I was at the Signia Hotel, closer to where the C concourse is for the World Congress Center for their shuttle pickup. And the loud eruption from the fans. And mind you, we don't have the top open.
Yeah.
The
stadium
roof is
not open.
The stadium is enclosed for that AC, and I guess they can't show that logo.
Yeah.
And I still heard the stadium cheering all the way down to the C building of the World Congress Center.
Yep.
I don't know if you know the yardage as far as how far away, but basically, like, it's 4 or 5 blocks.
Yeah, because it's the current stadium, and then what used to be the Georgia Dome.
Yeah.
And then the Signia.
And I heard, and it not just like, was that a bug? Yeah. It was.
Yeah. Feel it in your chest and your brain.
Incredible. I mean, to Lamine Yamal's hype and pedigree, if you will, even during the Cabo Verde match. So I at least got to say I witnessed his first World Cup appearance.
Yeah, he popped in.
Even though I only heard his first goal, I saw his appearance, and every time that man was past the ball, the stadium was going crazy.
Yeah,
Spain was in fuego. You know what I mean? Like they were just sitting there. So you could say, this was definitely their prodigy, finally, making his national appearance for the World Cup. So to see that, incredible. To hear it, incredible. Their first ever win was at Atlanta Stadium. That being Spain. First goal we already mentioned from Haiti since 1974 was in Atlanta Stadium. DR Congo secured their first ever World Cup win to advance to the knockouts. Being there in the 100 in that little corner cut right by the goal. It was basically where the supporter section is for Atlanta United.
Yep.
I was right there, so in the corner wing of that. And to see that match against Uzbekistan where they had to win to get in. I remember, speaking of stoicism, so I'm right between two. One Uzbekistan fan and then like just a row of Congolese. And they don't have much expressions on their face at all.
No.
So Uzbekistan is just sitting there silent the whole time. And Congo, obviously, they've got their rhythm.
Congo brought a party.
They bring a party.
Yeah, they were having fun.
I was enjoying it all. Actually, the guy who filled in for, going to kill me that I'm blanking on it, but the guy who basically does the statue stance during every single Congo match.
Yeah.
The guy who was basically filling in for him because he didn't get his visa was sitting in my area. And to see the party that's going nonstop because of him making his appearance and taking pictures with people, and then just everybody else just vibing the whole time throughout the match. Uzbekistan is just like this the whole time. And then they go up first. And it's just so funny to see this man who didn't say a word, not a zip, not nada, the whole time. Once they scored, not a loud pop like everybody else does when they score. It was just ha 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 against the crowd. I was just like, that is the funniest thing in the world to see him just go ha ha ha. So that was hilarious. And then boom,
you peasants.
Yeah. And then of course Congo pops back. And then,
eventually.
But again, those last minute goals.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke about this before. Speaking of historic runs that Atlanta Stadium got to witness and host, 4 matches back to back to back to back. We got to see comeback victories inside Atlanta Stadium, and not just with a group stage, but going into the knockout rounds from a group stage to then knockouts where it really means something all the way, of course, to the semifinal here.
But even that last group stage match that Atlanta had was that Uzbekistan-Congo, which basically was a knockout match. Because
you're right. They had to win to get in.
Both teams had to win. Like Uzbekistan, now they had to have a lot of crap go in their favor, but no matter what, they had to win that game. Congo had to win that game. There was no, like, if you draw, We're not going to extra time. You're not going to penalties. Somebody has to win this game to have a chance of going forward. And for Congo to then go down and then fight for so long and then to come back and actually make it the scoreline that it was so cool. I am glad, to your point about stoic dude pointing at everybody. I'll go back to that point I made earlier. Their version of like, I'm getting emojis on the screen. Their version of their chants and their drums and everything was just so like unique. And it was very stoic, like warlike, very serious. They were bringing like almost an intimidation factor.
Yeah.
And it was really, really interesting to see. Meanwhile, the Congolese are having a party in the stands. They're having a good old time. And like they were cheering the whole time. But man, when that first goal went in, they came to life. When the second goal, the go-ahead goal happened, there were so many loud moments. That one, the place erupted.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly impressed because it wasn't like these other games where you had, a big section of each, right? Like that Uzbekistan Congo match, Uzbekistan on the side across from the window had like a good little supporter section where they were doing the drums and stuff. And then the rest of the crowd was basically just interspersed with a mixture. And so there was no true like Congo supporters section. There was kind of that one in the corner where all the other ones were at in every other match. But I think that was the most like kind of imbued fan base that I saw. Sure. And so when that second goal went in for Congo, you heard the eruption from all over the stadium and not just like in one section. And so I think maybe that made it feel louder, or maybe they were just loud. Maybe they were just that excited because they were very, very happy. But man, they brought an energy.
I would rival them with the Haitian crowd as far as energy.
Yeah, for sure.
And just love and just, if I'm looking at teams in the future, to answer one question here is Cabo Verde, Congo, because they actually took it to England as well.
Yeah, they did.
They took it to England and thought that they were going to win it. But again, England came back and then in that final and got a taste of their own medicine with Argentina, basically doing the same thing to them. You would have thought you actually did it to somebody in that same stadium that it was done to you, but whatever. That's Tommy Tuchel to worry about.
Tuchel, but whatever.
And then
screwed my bracket up.
I'm always going to show love to Japan. They're going to get it right one of these tournaments.
Yep.
You thought
they have a goal of winning the World Cup by 2050 as a country.
Hey,
that's like a.
I love that. I love that they're patient about it too.
Yeah,
I love that they're patient about it. But
they're on the right path.
Let's throw this question in there. If there was one team you wish you could have watched here in Atlanta, what would it be? To me, it's Japan.
Japan. I'm always going to say Japan in many things, not just soccer. So just to give you my close second or 1A, 1B type situation, it would have been Norway. We saw Harry Kane. We saw Lionel Messi. We ended up seeing him twice.
Lionel Messi, Lamine
Yamal. So then I think to round out things, like I could care less about Brazil, no offense. You saw Ashraf Hakimi with Morocco.
Salah.
Yeah, with Egypt. So you saw a handful of stars, but the big one that you didn't get was Erling Haaland.
Yeah.
And I would have loved to have seen the Viking row in the bins.
Yeah.
That would have been so cool. So that would be my 1A, 1B. I would have loved just to experience the moment of like Japan being Japan and the discipline that they bring on the pitch, but also the love and the discipline they bring as a fan base where, I mean, they're bringing trash bags and cleaning up after themselves. Like, I don't expect that. Nobody expects that, but the fact that is just you and your culture, I think it's almost one of those like intangible things that I would just like to see in person,
Yeah.
Just be like, hey man, y'all are real MVPs for sure.
To kind of wrap it up and just, again, giving the love back to the city and just all that we got to experience, something else that I feel like was an honorable mention to our top three, shouts out to the stadium pricing.
Yes.
That's something I was complaining about being priced out on one level, but once you get inside, again, it's something that we take for granted watching Atlanta United, but when you go in to what is the most televised, biggest event of the world, you expect a certain price tag. I mean, taking more shots at New York, they 100x their ticket price on the subway to get in out of the Meadowlands versus Marta's $250.
Yep.
And
Every
then
time.
once you hop in, shouts out to the concession stand at ATL Grill for giving me a beer, a hamburger, and fries for $6.
Yeah.
Now, probably because I had the staff credential situation. I don't know. He was hooking it up, but
either way, okay, if you don't have a discount, it's $12.
you know,
Like you go to the Fan Fest, $12 is the cheapest drink you're gonna find.
yeah,
So
yeah,
and that was always the big thing. That was always the story. And I think it was so funny seeing, again, we talk about seeing the city through other people's eyes. The amount of people that got here and they were like, you can get all this for $20.
yeah.
And we were like, hey man, shout out to Uncle Arthur.
Uncle
Arthur said, no, man, we're not, it doesn't matter if it's Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Post Malone, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's all the same.
All of it. Or the World Cup. You're getting a $2 hot dog, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. I feel like I wanted to say that before, we got off because, we take these things for granted, but so cool to be able to witness all these teams, to see all these things. I feel I'm going to miss it. I want to do it again next summer.
I know.
Or at least in 4 summers from now. You know, I know we're going to potentially get a bid to host another one in the future.
2038 maybe.
Maybe the women's coming here too.
Yeah, that's I can definitely see that happening.
With what we did, for this one, come on now. We also have the U.S. National team headquartered here that the men didn't get to do. Hopefully the women get to break it in.
Yeah.
And actually play a home match.
Yeah.
I kind of missed out on seeing the U.S. team do that here. So I would love to at least cheer on the women for that. So looking back, I mean, anything that we miss, I just feel like Atlanta has such a star shining right now for the future of events, especially when it comes to this beautiful game. But we've already known this. College football is hosted here. I mean, major concerts and sporting events are hosted here. The Super Bowl is here.
You're going to have another Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, the sky is the limit right now.
Yep. That
I'm glad to call myself a native ATLian.
Yep.
That I can say, man, I've seen so much growth. And I'm so proud.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
It is a beautiful thing. But to wrap things up, they absolutely. We should be hosting the final. I love that comment right there. We don't only a bid. We honestly, we should just host the whole thing.
Yeah, every match.
The Georgia could host the whole thing.
Yeah.
Athens, we got a stadium there.
Hey man,
we got Bobby Dodd. We've got
cut down the hedges in Athens.
What are we doing?
We can make it work.
So anyway, speaking of matches and where to watch, where are you watching the match on Sunday?
So Sunday, I mentioned earlier our good buddies at Like Minds over at Krog Street. We are going to be doing an event out there. So if you need a place to go watch, or you can ice wherever you were going to go and come somewhere cooler and come out and hang out with us at Like Minds. We're going to be out there doing a show beforehand. I'm literally giving y'all details that we're still ironing down. So I'm not going to give too much.
Yeah.
But that's where we're going to be. So going to be hanging out there right on the belt line. Going to be tons of people there, lots of TVs. You're not going to sit in a place where you can't see. You're going to be there with Spain fans. You're going to be there with Argentina fans. You're going to be there with us. And it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to just finally being able to tap in just as a fan that's not working, crowd gathering, do anything.
Can actually go play the game now.
Actually play the game. and get to experience some of these fan festivities, if you will, outside of the Mercedes-Benz, or at least Atlanta Stadium, I should say. I'm going to miss calling it Atlanta Stadium.
I'm not. I'm tired of calling it Atlanta.
I just say as far as like putting some respect on our name.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like this is Atlanta Stadium.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yes, I get that. I totally agree with that. I think it's been kind of the icing on the cake in terms of, it started off with Atlanta Stadium. And then as the world saw Atlanta, it was, hey, what about that Atlanta Fan Fest?
Yeah.
Hey, what about, the Atlanta pricing, or even people, from all over the world talking about MARTA,
like, who would have thought?
Right. And so to just see Atlanta spoken of in such high regard by so many people across the world, it warms my heart. It makes me so happy. It makes me, like you said, proud to be native ATLian. And there's so many more things coming here. and it's going to be hard to top this. It's going to be hard to top this, but I'm just trying to soak it all in. I'm trying to sit here and like revel in it, and also like try not to get emotional about it being over, because I'm just like, dude, this has been like the most fun summer, at your cousin's house ever.
Yeah.
Except all my cousins came here to my house, and it turned out way better than I thought it would.
Way better. I would have never, but alas, here we are. And I'm just happy that everybody else is in agreement. There's this like, mirror bias of, oh, just because I live here.
Yeah.
Thing. No, it is across the board.
Yeah. Y'all loved us.
Y'all loved us. Thank you so much for coming through. And thank you guys for watching. Do we do predictions for the final, or do we save that for Sunday?
Ooh, I say let's save it.
Save it for Sunday.
Yeah. Y'all come out to the show on Sunday. And keep an eye on social media, too, because we'll put all the information out, get you guys some more details, and y'all can come hang out with us at the live show.
Love the teaser. Love that we did this, again, just for my own selfish documentation purposes.
Yeah. You only get one of these probably in a lifetime, maybe two if you're lucky. But no matter what, we got this one. It was a great time, and happy to have shared it with you.
Likewise.
Really, really cool moment.
I mean, there's nothing left in the glass.
I know.
And this collector's item,
yeah,
so to speak. But, cheers to just the memories. I'm glad we did this, and I'm glad we got to experience it. I mean, so many of my international friends and family, my wife is Dominican, so she also went to the Dominican Republic during this World Cup, and her whole family was like, so where's Tony at? Why is he not here? And like, well, he's watching the World Cup. You're like, what? That's a good excuse, but like, what?
Yeah.
Man, he's getting paid.
Yeah. You could have led with that.
Like, that's the most insane thing ever. Yeah. Again, best summer job I could have ever looked into. So, I hope anybody, if you got to experience a fan festival, a match, take it in. Reminisce. Kevin Egan's got a soundbite right now that's going viral that everybody's using, and it's just that. It's like, I know it's past the point, but wherever you're watching, whatever you're doing, at least stop by this weekend somewhere at a local pub. But if it's at the Beltline at Like Minds on Sunday, whatever it is, soak in this last moment, because, you're not going to remember the random Sunday that you stayed at home.
Yep.
But you will remember a time when everyone cheered, everyone rejoiced, everyone from all around the globe was around you and celebrating, and just the beautiful game, but what it brings, the community at large, putting your city on a map, all of those things. And I think this is definitely, without a doubt, a summer I will never forget.
100%. You're going to feel it whenever you go. You're going to feel it in your soul when those goals are scored. And even if you don't have a stake in this match, you don't care who wins. You go and be with people, be with the best that humanity's had to offer, because I feel like this summer has shown that.
Yeah.
And you will leave a much more fulfilled person from wherever you go to watch it with other people than you were before you got there. I can promise you that.
I know we're doing the Latino goodbye, which is like giving 6 hugs and 6 goodbyes, but just to quickly end on that note too, very poignant what you just said there too, because if we all remember going in, not just from Atlanta perspective, but just from like a United States perspective, there was a lot of negativity going into this one, whether it was the corruption, which we kind of saw when the red card was reversed, it's as far as like what it is when you give somebody a peace prize. And then he's like, oh, no. I am hosting this thing, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's run that back, mind you.
Hey, Mom, I'm turning the game. Like, you just go and turn the freaking Nintendo off. Like,
which I do think after that Uno reverse was played, that's when we started seeing the tomfoolery, if you will,
the shenanigans
start to break out in the World Cup from that moment.
Yeah.
Not just that moment, but it was like other matches that were now like, oh, no. What about that random ball that just dropped from the sky, Norway, England? It was moments up from that.
It hit a drone.
Either way, there was a lot of negativity going in, whether it was visa issues, whether it was, political issues, whatever it was, that I myself was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be welcoming the world. Why are we shutting them away? And to see it, the cities, if you will, just stay true and resist. One of the things I saw on social media was you go in, if you read about America or watch America, you might hate America. But once you are in America, you love it.
Yeah.
Because of the people, because of the atmosphere, because of everything that we collectively created.
Yep.
That is what you remember. That is what you hold on to. And again, just happy to say that I, in some way, played a part in it. But more importantly, the city that I call home played, I feel like, the biggest part of it, dare I say.
100%. 100%. Couldn't have said it better. Again, as the Latino or Southern goodbye, we kind of do it the same way. At this point, we're now out in the driveway. The door's open to the car, and we're still giving hugs. We love you guys so much. Come out to Like Minds on Sunday. Come hang out with us. Follow us on social media, and we will see y'all there.
We did it.
So, normally it's funny. We normally do like our stop and start segment, a little thing down here, and we'll just go off on like a rant about whatever, whatever, to kind of wrap it up. I feel like we got to carry on that tradition. Like, what was I don't want to say dumbest. Like, what was the most strangest thing you saw?
Oh God, strangest thing I saw. Well, I mean, it's adults probably thinking that they have a Sunday league that they're trying out for in the mini pitch for the fan zone.
Yes.
I mean, like full-grown men, I had to turn down and be like, we have this for kids, right?
Yeah, bro. And this thing's like a postage stamp, right? Like, this is for kids.
Yeah.
You're not. You can take 3 steps and be across this thing.
When you sign the waiver, it says your child's name and their age.
Below 18, probably below 14. Yeah, see, and I can totally see that. There's just a couple times that I made it down there before games.
Yeah.
I was like, the first day I was waiting on you, and I was like,
absolutely. Absolutely.
For me, there was plenty of them. The one that pops off right now, it was just kind of a strange thing. Both Argentine games involved fireworks. First, I was unprepared. I'm walking down, what was that, MLK, right in front of State Farm. I think it's whatever. And I turn, I hear a pop. Good. And then I look, and there's a rocket's red glare going over the top of the Reverb Hotel. This was not like a sparkle. This was a whole firework that shot over the top, and it was the Argentine fans that had brought it. And then all of a sudden, I see police coming in, and they're like, "Man, we can't have that, bro." But a straight up, like a legit firework. It wasn't like a little, what's the company, the Phantom firework type situation. No, this was a legit one.
Wasn't a Phantom sparkler.
No, it was definitely not a Phantom sparkler.
You went to the Waffle House. What was that like?
I did go to the Waffle House, and actually, my wife and kids went a couple times. If you've never been to the Waffle House right there next to Centennial, you should go. That is the most professional, Waffle House I've ever been to. It's like the Chick-fil-A Waffle House.
That was my late night spot when I was at.
Yeah,
that one there, and then there was another one right near the campus.
Yeah, that place. I mean, you got a door greeter. They're sitting down. They have a store. That's where I got this Waffle House kit and the scarf that's behind me. Look, it's good food. Fast. Like, what else can you say?
I will say, if there is ever a restaurant ready for World Cup, it is Waffle House. They have seen some stuff. There's a physical test they have to do.
Yeah.
You have to go 5 rounds boxing and MMA.
I guarantee you Argentina would not have tried the shenanigans in Waffle House at all. All right, y'all. It's been fun.